Okay.
All right. So we wake up, we go downstairs. They like the samples we gave them. So guess what? We're getting more. So we go back. We're like, hey, we got more jars and shit. So let's go do that again. And she's like, oh, okay, that's fine. You can go over there. So we go over there. We fight some shit. Some weird ass creature sticks its fucking spine into our necks multiple times. Does no damage. We're like, huh, I feel funny, and we just go on about our day.
Snuff
So
some
then
cocaine.
we snuff some cocaine later. But that happened much later. So then we fight Big Thwompy guy, and then we also fight Big Spiny guy, and we kick their asses. We get sampled from them, and then we find out that weird thingy that stabbed us in the neck turned us into those infected fuckers. So what we did then is we snorted the cocaine. That was the antidote, by the way, and that worked out. So now, right after that, we kill the thing that stabbed us in the neck initially, and we decide, oh hey, we're going to take it back. Drunk Dane thought so, or Drunk Paxi thought that we could take it back. I find a scroll in its face, black scroll with a certain pattern, with a spell called. Scroll up to it. What was it called?
Melbarks and Venom Flames.
Melbarks and Venom Flames. Thank you, Inner Monologue. And then, we see that this thing created a monstrous amount of sacks filled with these infected creatures. They all came up, and we fucking booked it with the weird creature that created them on our back. Then we come across Feather of the Wing, which is the druid who initially told us to go out into the forest. Saw the scroll, gave us some backstory on it, and am I hearing? Yeah, but we got some backstory about how or rather a plot hook in regards to the scroll and how there was multiple wizards. Dane, do you remember what these wizards were? Did you write them down? I know Dylan put them in the chat. Okay, so you didn't got it. Okay, let me scroll up in the D&D chat. So they're called Vrisma, Koltar, Melbark, and Ishnox. These are the four brothers, the four siblings, whatever you want to call them. And so, what was that thing called, Dylan? The thing that turned them all into the infected creatures? What did they call it?
The Plague Bear.
The Plague Bear. Thank you. So then she finds out that we've got the Plague Bear on our backs along with these samples, and she's like, "What the fuck? We're going into town, and we're going straight to the barracks with it." And so we did. That's where we met Vampire Lady, who is not Vampire Lady, who is captain of the barracks.
What
Captain
significance did these four brothers have again?
They. If you could, Dylan. I did not.
You only know is that these four brothers, or mages, are referred to as the Barons.
Oh, the Barons.
But in what context did we hear their names? Like what?
Oh, you've heard their names, Vrisma, Koltar.
No, what context? Not their actual names. Like what?
Well, you did hear their actual names though.
Right,
No,
but
no,
what led us to hearing about these four?
Oh, Feather of the Wing was basically explaining what she knew, or at least what everyone knew about them and their spells.
Oh,
And
because we found a spell of one of them in the Plague Bear.
Yes.
And speaking of which, I will repeat their names as well, because
Vrisma, Koltar, Melbark, and Ishnox.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
They did not go into detail what the others do, but they did mention that Melbarks involve fire of some kind.
We like fire. Okay.
Venom Flames. Mailbox and Venom Flames.
Okay, got it.
Also, speaking of which, I should also mention it's a necromancy spell. Or at least it's part of the school of necromancy.
Cool.
Because you guys would know about that.
Yeah.
Because that would be on the spell. Anyways, is that pretty much it? That sounds like
Well,
pretty much
we took all the parts back to Calvin. He said, "All right, we leave in the morning. We're gonna go to the barracks and meet my quote contact."
Not leave in the morning. Leave ASAP because having something like that corpse lying around is
Oh,
too
okay.
big of a
So
deal.
we left immediately.
Yeah, because you were wanting to talk to him later on about your little sword thing, I think. But that kind of got pushed to the side because after seeing that corpse, he's like, "Yep, let's go. I'm not leaving that in my tavern."
Okay. So then we went to the barracks and we met with a half-elf,
No,
female.
Not a half elf.
Damn it.
In fact, you don't really know who her race. She looked human-like, but she kind of looks a little odd.
She had red eyes and white hair, right? And
Pale
white
skin, pale
skin.
hair, red eyes. And she is... Let me pull it up again.
Alright.
Where?
One
Prey
second.
Ashlight, Captain of the Guard.
Is that a C or a K?
K, just like Calvin.
You related to Mr. Kelbrin? You and your K first names?
Maybe, maybe not. You don't know.
Oh,
I don't think that's how relation works. In...
I mean, they don't even look the same though.
Yeah, I think a first name generally doesn't relation.
I yell at Cammy's sack. What do you know? You're not even up here.
Oh, thought I saw something. Guess not. Alright, is everyone here then except for Mike?
Yep.
Is that the Corsair Virtuoso headset?
Also, I should probably...
You all can hear me, right? Like I'm
Yes.
not losing my mind.
I'll move you guys to here.
It would be a good practical joke, though, Ron.
Yeah, dude. Man, the past couple of days that I've had, trust me.
Also, I have to play this song because why the fuck not?
Wait, is Feather with us?
Yep.
Oh. Wait. Where? Oh, you're gonna drive me nuts with this song.
This is Final Fantasy.
I know it
No.
is. I don't know where.
It's not Final Fantasy, buddy.
Is
Oh,
Edelstein.
oh, okay.
It's the Resistance. That's not
I was
the
like,
music
of all
appropriate.
people, I should know what this song is.
I know, I was like,
This is his
if you
name.
did...
This is the Resistance HQ.
Yep. Wild Hunter main for life, or at least kinda. Anyways, so you guys basically went into the barracks. The guards and stuff did not hesitate to let you in after they saw like both, well, Kelvin and Feather of the Wing were with you. Like the moment they saw you guys, they're kind of just like confused, not sure. They're like, "Who the fuck are these guys?" And then when those two were walking with you, they immediately like, "Let them in! Let them in! Let them in!" Because these two seem to be very well known, or at least to these guys. And you guys got let in, and then into the small little chamber, and then to the door, which revealed to be the captain's office. So that little connection that Kelvin had was in fact the captain, not just a standard guard.
So as
And yep,
as we're walking in, can I just kind of make like a little side comment to Kelvin? Like a offhanded question, just like,
Go ahead.
adventure only or a little military mixed in there?
he just like shrugs his shoulders and he just grins at you. Like, doesn't really actually give you a verbal answer. He just shrugs.
Hmm.
He just After a bit, though, he does eventually speak and say, well, let's just say that my connection and I go way back.
Alright.
And then you guys would get to the office, and then the door would open, and then before you would be Prey Ashlight. She would basically be looking over on a few things on her table, like papers and things, reports. And when the door would basically be knocked on and opened, she would look and see Calvin, and she would just like blink a little bit, goes, "Back so soon?" And then Calvin just like, "Yes, but you know those adventurers that I spoke of that gave you the last samples? To say the least, let's just say they went above and beyond." And then he would just gesture to the corpse beside him that's currently creating a pool of black blood on the ground. And she would just like look down at the corpse, look at him, look down at the corpse again. I see. Come in, come in. I'm assuming you brought them with you. And of course he would go in, begging for you guys to go inside as well.
Sure.
When Feather the Wing would walk in, you would see that Cray would give a nod to her, and the Tabaxi would nod in return. Seems like they recognize each other. But now for you guys, who are scattered around the place. I'll move Healer Gnome in here.
Who's playing Swolbo, by the way? Did we ever decide on that?
Actually, who wants to take over Swolbo for this?
I can.
Barbarian
Yeah,
experience?
I can do that. That's fine.
Alright,
easy
in that
enough.
case, settings.
You'll have to change his HP if anything changes, but
Yep, alright. He's under your
Just make
control
sure I
now.
record
Or
it.
at least a token.
Yeah.
And you can find his stats on the
yeah,
the
yeah,
point.
yeah. I got it.
Oh, looks like the family is back with groceries.
Are they back?
It is so. All right. So you guys would basically be all in this little small office with the sheer amount of you guys in there starting to look a little cramped. So, but she.
Can
What's
I
up?
give a side eye to the papers she's got on the table there?
Go ahead. I mean, you want to roll perception to see if you can get an idea of what she's looking at?
Yeah.
All right, roll perception.
Just
Unless
like
you
just
do,
a
you want to be
glance.
inconspicuous or
Yeah,
just...
like just a quick glance.
All right,
No-
roll
nothing-
perception.
17.
It's okay, so trying to look inconspicuous, but also get a look at it. So you didn't get that much information, but with a 17, I'd say it's enough to get a general idea. From what the reports seem to talk about, there's like a couple papers like spread out. You notice that one of them talk about infected, but you can't really tell what exactly it is because it's the furthest paper. One of the closer ones seems to talk about casualties involving an encounter with a cult. From what you know, like
Okay.
that was just the big what letters that kind of just come out to mind. It's like the eye catcher of the whole report. Everything else is like the text is small, kind of hard to get an idea of because you have to look at more closely. But it seems like the papers seem to concern involving things like problems that's happening around Witch Door. One being the infected, and one talking about some people dying to a cult. But other than that, you're not sure what else. And if you want to look closely, well, you're going to get the attention of the other people in the room.
Nope. I'll stay with my glance.
All right. So,
I'd like to, Paxi, whenever you meet a woman as gorgeous as this, you should always compliment her eyes, and I'll cast guidance on him.
I'll just kind of course, Mr. Healer, but I believe Miss Cray gets enough attention as it is, with her striking appearance.
Y'all hear that squirrel in my back talking?
speaking of, she would clear her throat and go, So, it seems that we meet at last, even though I've only just heard about all of you just yesterday from Mr. Kelvin. And he would just like nod and two-finger salute. So, perhaps introductions are in order. You may have heard of me before, but I am Cray Ashlight, captain of the Witch Door Guard. Pleasure is mine. Now, if you may, although I've already heard of this vague description of all of you, perhaps, as I've said, proper inductions are in order.
Well, first of all, I am Athenia. And this here is Swolbo.
And he just flexes above his head.
You just like look down at him, raise an eyebrow.
And that there is Paxi.
I just kind of nod. Ma'am.
Here we
I'll
have.
use minor illusion to and from the back of his keg, I'll say, "And I'm healer."
That's Healer Gnome. And here we have Cammy. Well, Cammy.
You just see me pull my hand out of my pants and start smelling my fingers.
What the
No,
She would
that tracks.
Blink, look at Calvin, he would just shrug. Look at Feather of the Wing, she would shrug. And she's, I see.
I didn't
I'll
realize I was
draw.
being
I'll.
watched, for the
Who's
record.
holding the corpse of the plague bearer?
No one.
Swolbo.
It,
Oh, no one?
it just got planted on the ground beside the door.
Can I just say that I'll just like kind of. Can I say that I was bringing it in, and I just kind of like gently toss it to the middle of the room and say, "Results are results."
Kind of looked down at it. Her lips were
Oh,
kind of
you
curled.
forgot?
and
Are
stuff.
you?
Oh.
The
You're probably-
Oh, and are you serious? My apologies.
tall, dark, and
Mhm.
handsome.
Oh.
Are you?
Ah, yes,
Sure.
and the one out there is "Are you serious?" As I point outside the door.
And he would probably say a 5-syllable sentence or something in response. Anyway, so she would look at the corpse now that's kind of dirtying up her office. Kind of look at it with disgust. Well, with the previous samples, I thought you were already on the right track, but seeing that you went out the way to retrieve this.
The Plague Bearer, yes.
Looks like Miss Sakala is going to be very pleased.
How do you spell that?
Alright. Sakaala.
What was the name?
Sakala.
Yeah,
Sakaala. There's
Wait,
four
think
A's
of
in that name.
Think of a turban. It's like sack Allah. It's like a turban and a potato sack.
At the mention of a new
Uh.
name, I won't say anything, but like one of my eyebrows will just peek up, like, go on.
Well, I have to say, you bunch are quite intriguing. Within the past 2 days, you've already provided more results than any other adventurers who've decided to go in there in a few years at least. As you can, well, perhaps I should give a bit of a description, but essentially, me and my guards haven't really been able to do much in that forest. Mostly due to the fact of the royal order, that we are not to waste any more of our resources and men.
That makes
But-
sense.
That does not stop, well, us from sending out requests, and of course, she looks at Feather the Wing, the assistance of others.
How long has this infection, corruption, whatever you call it, been going on?
For about 3 years.
Okay, not terribly too long.
Or at least to our knowledge, for 3 years. Because 3 years ago, when this corruption started spreading, or at least with our notice, we first discovered it when Feather of the Wing noticed that one of her companions, a druid named Lentaka, vanished.
Lentaka?
Lentaka.
Lentaka.
And then Druid of the Wing would speak up. Yes, you see, Heartwood Forest is his domain, his home. He's the guardian of it. But, of course, he and I would be in constant communication with each other, sending messages, updates of the land, that sort of thing. But then one day, he just stopped talking. And when I went to investigate, that's when I noticed the corruption. And then Cray would then follow up, which is why we informed the royal family, and the royal family then decided to send out a bounty, to say the least, to discover the source. And a group of powerful adventurers accepted it and went out to that forest and supposedly hunted down the whatever creature that was the source of this corruption. However, after that adventurers succeeded, got their payment and left, apparently there's still reports of this corruption, and it was slow, kind of minor. It was mostly dregs of what's left over, but it seems like it hasn't abated, in fact seems to continue to grow. So whatever that was destroyed in that forest was not the source. That or the corruption found another way to continue. But regardless, the royal family does not see this as much of a problem due to the fact that this corruption remains in the forest. It does not seem to spread outward. But since that this thing still exists, I still see it as a threat. But who am I to speak up against the royal family? Regardless, we still send out various requests, and of course the court cleric, Miss Sakala, finds quite an interest in these creatures and seems quite fascinated in experimenting on them. That's why this requests for samples. And since he brought a body, like an actual full body and not just a piece, and of a unique specimen too, let's say that she's going to be quite happy. Which is another thing. You know that I said that you brought more results than many have in the past few years. What do you think of a personal commission?
Commission?
Of course, to hire your skills.
I mean...
Before we go on any further, I would ask that I might be able to personally deliver this specimen to Miss Sakala myself.
I'm afraid that is not going to happen. Even though you've provided excellent results, until now you are still technically unknown. And unless you have a personal invitation, you will not be allowed within anywhere near the palace premises.
Personal invitation, no. Personal interest, absolutely.
Perhaps. But the body would have to be delivered first, and then Sakala would have to be brought attention to the fact of what you all have done. Even though I could give you a word of favor, ultimately, I'm simply the captain of the guard of Witchdor. My standing does not quite compare to the royal guard.
Makes sense.
But regardless, this body will be delivered, and your names will be brought to the court cleric and to the royal family as well. But until then, you merely have to wait until you are summoned, which is why I would like to commission your services. Since obviously you've been providing excellent results hunting down these creatures, because I'm quite confident that these samples are not obtained from live specimens. But
Well, it is a
regardless,
commission and sounds quite enticing. I'm not really in it for myself in this matter. What does this solve for the people?
this convention would in fact help the people and this country specifically. I want you to go to the forest and discover the source, or at least an idea of what exactly is creating these creatures. Because you found this plague bear, and to our knowledge, this one particular creature creates infected. But the plague bears themselves are not created naturally. they do not create other plague bears. They are
That
only
I
made by
can't
other
remember.
sources. And which
Do
is
we
why
know
I
what
would
those
like...
sources are?
We do not.
How big exactly is this forest?
Fairly big. If you guys go to the map. Let me take a
Yeah,
look.
I'm just asking out of character.
I'll just bring
So-
you guys to the map real quick. Basically, get the drawing tool. Draw shape.
We're in the main part of
Basic-
Witchler, right?
It'd basically be about... Let me clear drawings. It's basically about this big. Draw tool. About this big, which is fairly giant.
Several.
Okay, so it's bigger than the actual city of Witchdor.
Yeah.
Much bigger.
So this. I mean, okay, in character. You ask us to find a needle in a haystack. What exactly can we use to locate the source of said corruption?
Simple. We would use the location of the advanced adventuring party reported their encounters. You see, you have already found things in the very opening, well, roughly at the forest, but some reports of fights that the previous adventuring party found would roughly be around this location.
Now, I don't mean to diminish myself and my companions' combative prowess. However, we barely stepped less than a foot inside this forest, as it were, and encountered creatures that could handedly give us a run for our money, and in large quantities. You propose that we make a venture into the heart of this corruption. Unless you have some sort of magic to get us there instantaneously, or some sort of protection from said corruption, we would need many weeks to reach that.
Surprisingly not. It would be true that the creatures there may very well be out of your hands in terms of power, but our request is not to fight, but to look. However, that does not mean that fights are unavoidable, which I understand. But you do prove an excellent point. In that case, she kinda starts walking past you guys. Babe. I do have something in my possession that can be of assistance. However, this is not something I can simply give away freely, and if I were to give it to you, I would have to have your word.
I kind of look at the rest of the party and
Our word on what?
on if we are taking this commission, Patsy.
Ah,
You see, what I would be offering you is not a simple trinket, but in fact, a remnant. Then you can see Calvin, blink a few times. Cray, Miss Cray, I have you wish to give a remnant? Don't you think that might be a little much? She kind of just smiles. Perhaps. But seeing how well this party's performed, I think it would be worth the investment. What do you say?
I'll look at Cray. Exactly what is a remnant?
A remnant is... Oh, a remnant, you remember, Paxi, before you ran off, is a lot like that item that
Item?
we found.
She kind of stops, pauses, looks at you. You found a remnant? Where?
We found a remnant?
Oh, I must have.
I suffered a major blow to the head. Apologies. I don't remember the last 48 hours very clearly.
But then you hear Feather of the Wing just like, yes, they did find a remnant within that forest. It was a scroll possessing magic of the Barrens. And that's when Cray just like stops again. Starts rubbing her chin. So that forest actually has remnants inside it. Well, not only does that save the explanation a little bit, but also makes it easier for me, or at least in finding people willing to go into there, because everyone is always looking for remnants. And perhaps this might even interest the royal family. But yes, for those who are still unfamiliar, remnants are basically items, artifacts, spells, and whatnot that are left over from the old Great Arcane War. And seeing that you're in possession already of one, I will not ask to see, because it's already in possession of another, and thus outside of my hands. But if you already know of their existence, then you understand that they are considered priceless.
From this, I've heard.
I'll look at the spell scroll that I think we gave it to Kami, if I remember correctly.
I thought he gave him back.
And I'll kind of read the description like, well, priceless and all-powerful. This man's guttural spewage already does more effects than this paltry spell does.
I resent that, you bastard.
I meant it as a compliment.
Also, hi, Mike.
Mike.
Hello.
Hello, are you?
Basically, you guys are talking with the captain, and long story short, seeing how well you guys have performed, she's willing to commission your guys' services to find out the source of what's causing this corruption.
Previous remnants aside, what does this new remnant grant us?
Very well, then. She then goes over to her desk. She then goes to the drawer, like pulls out a small key. She puts the key into like looks like a small inconspicuous hole. You see a small flash of light.
Can I use this opportunity to get another glance at the desk?
Roll perception.
Like more of a, feather of the wing and
Also, you
Kelvin
rolled
aside, like
performance.
I want to take a good look at it. Wait, what?
Performance?
Yeah, you rolled performance, not
What?
perception.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah,
whoops.
you're good at performance. Let's
I'm
swap.
bad at perception, as
Well,
seen
you
by
know
my
what?
number
I'll let the
7.
previous one slide because I didn't notice. Well, this time you don't really get much of a good look this time.
Just all the
Whatever
same
informa-
papers.
Do I see Paxi looking?
Probably.
He rolled a 7 on perception. I think he was making it
You-
something obvious.
You're
I'm
definitely
literally
making-
just
you're-
like leaning
you're
over
kinda-
the table at this point,
Yeah.
looking down.
You kind of see Kelvin. Kelvin notices you, but he doesn't say anything. He just merely grins. Feather of the Wing, she's kind of too focused on Miss Cray or Captain Cray.
It's her back is turned. I'm making no attempt to hide this. I'm like
Yeah.
leaning over the table, trying to glance as much as I can.
Yeah, you don't notice anything, sadly, without what you already know.
Damn.
But
Everything's tilted 90 degrees. I can't read.
anyways, so you notice that she
Sorry,
pulls out this weird
Japanese.
key, sticks it into this weird inconspicuous hole. You notice that there's a flash of light when she turns the key, and then a drawer forms inside the desk. As she pulls it out, and then reaches in and grabs this weird talisman. It's like a necklace almost.
What
This
does
is
that do if I'm
Wait, was she directly at the desk that I was looking at? I thought she was on the other side of the room.
No, she's at the desk, but she was
sh-
busy focusing. You're right here. She's busy leaning forward and focusing on what's on here. So she didn't notice.
All right.
But you notice this necklace, like talisman, it's made. It's like it's a very silvery chain, and it ends with like a big green jewel. It almost looks like a shard of some kind. But if you were to look closely at the jewel, like the center of it seems to glow faintly.
If I may ask, Miss Prey, what does this do?
This necklace is, well, a very treasured item of mine. It is something I used during my old days before I became a guard, much less a captain. Whoever wears this creates a field of silence, where they themselves and those that they deem allies are barely noticeable to others. It seems to make others essentially fade from, well, reality.
May I have a demonstration?
Of course. Sheeta looks at Caliburn and then Featherwing. Both of you, please come next to me. As she takes a step back, Caliburn approaches her. Then she puts on the necklace, and you guys start blinking a few times. You start noticing that they're not really there anymore. Like, you kind of like try to focus on where they were standing, that you know they are standing, and you know they probably didn't move. But you like every time you start trying to look at them, you feel your guys moving away, like to the walls or something, almost like your body's trying to actually not look at where they are. But then she takes the necklace off, and suddenly their presence are immediately known to you guys again.
Oh, what was that book? It's not that they're invisible, but they're like unnoticeable? Question
Exactly.
mark.
Like,
Yeah.
you know they were there, you know they didn't move, but it was becoming increasingly difficult to notice that they are there.
Kind of like the mist from Percy Jackson.
Alright.
Yes, she's currently holding the necklace in her hands. Now, as you can understand, this remnant is extremely valuable, and also in the wrong hands can be exceedingly dangerous. Which is
Give a
why,
glance at Aryu.
as you can see, this is why I need your word. And not just a word. She then walks over to her desk, to the papers. She grabs the 3 papers that's like on there, puts them together to a pile. Then she goes around, basically essentially puts them into another drawer, like a normal drawer instead of whatever she pulled the necklace from. And then she pulls out a piece of gold paper. And along with it, a bright blue quill. She sets it down onto the table, sets the quill aside. Essentially, we would need a contract. Since I cannot simply have all of you just running away when in possession of this remnant.
Wait, so are we all sharing a remnant? Right, I just
I'll kind of point to the horns on my head. I'll be like, ma'am, I am very familiar with contracts. What exactly is the downside?
This contract is meant to be equal for all parties. Essentially, it would give you a time limit on how long you can search. And then once that time limit is up, you are to immediately return and, well, return this remnant to me.
Oh, the last time I signed something, I got fucked.
Well, consider this as insurance.
Yeah, your insurance is a verbal agreement. You can hire me on as a contractor. No signing.
Very well then. And then she just takes the necklace, put it back in the drawer, closes it, and suddenly the drawer just seems to melt into the table.
Ma'am, I believe you might be speaking the wrong language for my friend here. What exactly does this job pay? And I kind of give her a little wink.
I will
This
cast
will be
guidance on
paid
Dave.
in gold. And not just gold, but you'll be able to basically obtain favor as well for the royal family, which means privileges.
Like-
I'll kneel down to Kami. Be like, Kami, what kind of compensation would convince you to sign that paper?
Boyo, let me teach you something about signing papers. You realize I'm a brewer, right?
I do.
What does that mean?
Do I look like the adventurer type to you, boy?
She
Oh.
just blinks. Did you say brewer?
Yes.
In that case, along with the gold, I can also give you a bottle from one of my personal collection.
God damn it! Fine.
The Calvin just like personal collection. Oh,
Yeah, it sounds like some good stuff. I must say.
you just hear Feather. Just so you know, Cray is definitely a very excellent drinker. And she just, regardless, do we have an agreement then? If there's any other objections,
How much gold are we talking? I never heard a number.
10 gold pieces apiece.
A piece.
That should be more than enough to get you started on whatever it is you're looking for.
And I'll kind of raise myself up to like my full height without making myself trying to look too hard. And I'll point over to Miss Athenia and Swolvo as well. I'll say, ma'am, you have said yourself that no other group has brought in a creature such as this, pointing to the plague bearer. I think it only fair maybe to pay a little extra, perhaps 12 gold apiece.
Or 2 bottles.
And 2 bottles.
He said or.
You want to roll persuasion?
I do.
Roll persuasion.
Hold up, I got this one.
No.
This is literally what he's good at.
Let the guy who's good at
Add a-
persuasion roll the persuasion. 23.
You can add a D4. You can add a D4 too, Dane.
Yeah, get out of here, fucking Paxi.
You know,
Nat
Paxi,
20.
you provide
20,
an excellent-
24. 24. That wasn't a nat 20. Wait,
Mine was a nat 20.
wait.
Kami got
Oh,
a nat
Kami's
20.
was. Jesus, I rolled a 16. Okay.
Okay, so at first she was kind of skeptical, and she was like, 10 apiece is already very generous. And then Kami's like, and 2 bottles. And she's like, stopped. Do you know what? Very well. I am feeling rather generous, in fact. 12 gold pieces apiece, and
She got it.
you know what? And then Calvin's like, yes, 2 bottles from our collection. Are you sure not 3? No. Only 2 is the maximum.
The mention
You
of
do know I work very
alcohol
hard
makes
to
her
obtain
go
this.
up.
You just hear Feather Wing, she's like chuckling, like, oh my. 2. I hope you realize that,
I
that
must-
those bottles cost more than all the gold you have combined.
I'll kind of like side to Kami, like seeing her change her tone and the mention of like alcohol. It's like you might want to treat her to some carbonated beverages later. You might not know what you'll get.
Then she just like nods her head. She goes over to the contract, grabs the quill. You notice that the blue feather, like the strands on the quill, start to glow a little bit in her hands. And the moment she touches the paper, notice that the words start changing on it.
She's not writing anything; they're just changing.
No, she's not. She's not even writing on it. It's just you
Well,
notice that the
landward
words on the
magic
page
is-
start moving.
Okay.
And
I must say,
you're-
before I sign Miss Cray, I must say I do not wish for any favor with the royal family, as I cannot be put on a level above myself.
Of course. But sadly, this is not simply something that I myself can say. Because if you accomplish this task, and, well, complete it with flying colors, sadly, you will be gaining favor regardless. Because if those who can do something like this and provide excellent results, I'm afraid that it would make you very difficult to not be noticed by them.
No, I'm not asking not. Don't out of character. I'm not asking not to be noticed.
Oh,
Lieutenant saying I serve the royal family. I do not. I
oh,
want to be put underneath them.
oh,
Not
well,
not being laying low.
oh, well, basically she's just saying no promises.
Yeah, makes sense.
She does not control what they think.
All right.
What have we got? If we are all in an agreement, I would like you all to sign.
I will take up the feather.
You notice that it starts glowing blue and you feel like some sort of connection form with you.
Have I experienced some kind of contract like this before? You know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna ask her, what happens if we break the contract? Like, we don't come back in time? Not intentionally break it, just like,
Of course.
whoopsie.
This contract from it, essentially its requirements is if you do not fulfill, well, its requirements, you would be essentially forced back here, regardless of your choice. So if you do not,
Can you
essentially,
explain that to me?
if you do not essentially move with your own 2 feet, the contract will essentially make you move until you return here.
Ah.
Somewhat like charm magic, but not quite. No death, no pain, and of course it will not make you go into perilous situations, but you will essentially be forced to return one way or another.
Compelled, so to speak.
That's exactly.
Understood.
Nothing more. And of course, it will not have you, as I said, go into perilous situations where you'll be compelled to return, but not to the point where you would walk right dead into the enemy. This is, as I said, insurance.
Is
And that's
this
not
is
some
this
sort of death
pertaining
contract.
specifically to the artifact? What did you call it?
The Remnant.
The
yes.
remnant? Okay, so it's basically, all of this contract is basically to ensure that the remnant ends up back
It's
in her
returned.
hand. Okay, understood.
Exactly.
Uh,
If you find no, if you basically you have a 1 week deadline, and like, it seems like a week is a little generous for the time, but that seems to be the maximum amount allowed.
It's a big forest. Before I sign, what leads do we have to lead us towards the source of this corruption again?
She did gesture, like I'll just bring you back to the map.
She had like a general location, but that could
Yeah.
be
I'll
square
say
miles in size.
Looking at the basically the general location, I will say it seems to be towards the path you guys were already heading.
Sure.
So you guys are it's not that far actually. It seems a little bit close.
It seems like the gods will guide us, and I'll sign my name.
Like when the moment you you touch the paper with the intention to sign, you notice that your name just gets written automatically. You didn't actually have to move the quill.
Is it my signature?
Yes. Seems like whatever your intention gets put into the quill, and it does it for you.
Spooky.
Spooky.
So
What if I was to use my homunculus to hold said pen and force him to sign the paper instead of myself?
you want to try?
Yes. So instead of doing that, I will pull out Fizzy and I would tell Fizzy to use his little nubbies and hold the pen.
And when he does, and it touches the paper, you notice that the contract contains your name with your signature.
fuck.
It
Hey, you
seems
sold your
like
soul for a bottle of alcohol.
He
Word.
has
two
Fizzy has
bottles of
send
alcohol.
as rights. It's Cammy.
You got 2 bottles of booze out of this contract.
Instead
It's
of
worth-
writing in person, it's the equivalent of an electronic signature.
I pick up the pen. I think of a picture of me holding hands with Cammy,
What?
and that's what I hope it draws on there.
What?
The quill does not seem to draw anything.
I mean,
If you wanted to touch me, lad, all you had to do was ask.
you don't know what Healer Gnome's legal signature is.
If that's his legal signature, then yes.
I
it
was
writes a
told that it would
picture.
draw my intent.
Well,
That's what I was gonna draw.
It seems within the limits. Like, if you intend to sign the contract, it will put your signature there. If it's anything besides the intent to sign a contract, then it'll do nothing.
His signature's just like a little red mana potion.
I cast minor illusion to make it look like I drew a picture of me and Cammy holding hands.
On a magical contract?
On the contract?
Well, it's over the contract because it's an illusion.
But it's
Yes.
technically affecting the contract, though, right?
No, it's just there.
I mean, but you're basically casting it on the contract, even if it's over it, right?
I don't know. Would you define that as doing that?
I guess. Make a wisdom save.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
Oh, tampering.
And then there were 4.
Oh, I see here. First roll of the day, plus 6 to wisdom. 7.
6?
Natural 1.
Oh no!
And then
That one.
everybody didn't like that.
So, okay. Let me roll some dice.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
I think you fucked up.
So this is what happens. The moment you try to cast a spell, even if it's a harmless illusion spell on it, you notice that the contract starts glowing brightly, like a bright yellow. Then it starts shining even brighter. And suddenly you feel like you're a sharp pain in your brain to the point where you almost have a seizure. You take 21 points of psychic damage.
Jesus Christ!
That one.
That's a strong-ass piece of paper.
You just hear
Okay,
coming.
wait, that one.
Be careful with that.
Did he just get
that contract-
tasered in the brain?
I
Basically.
scream loudly and I'll crawl back into Cammy's backpack.
Jesus Christ!
Caliber is just like, you better be careful with that. It's tamper-proof.
I'll
Maybe-
look at Kami's like, yeah, I've tampered with contracts before. You might want to make sure he didn't soil himself inside your bag.
Jesus, I'm
You
gonna
just
have
hear-
to get me a rat trap, put it in my satchel.
I see this, a little nervous.
It's-
I go over
it's
and
meant-
sign it.
Yeah, so your signature appears and Kelburn just continues. That contract is made by Miss Sakala directly, and to say this is one of her most finest work. So do not tamper with it. Either sign or don't sign.
I'll kind of look back at Healer and his cowering inside the bag. You want to try again, friend?
Chris was out. You're gonna
Oh.
have to say that again.
Oh, is he back now?
Let me see.
Screw it. Are you in?
Nobody explained to me what this thing is. I got here like 10 minutes ago.
No.
Long
We're-
story short, you guys are basically signing a contract to return this magical his artifact within a week's time, and you're using it to
And
go into
the
the
reason
forest.
why we have this artifact is because we're being commissioned to go back into the forest to basically find out the source of the corruption.
The artifact is an invisibility bubble that goes around us, so we can creep deep into the forest.
Okay, so there's a magical artifact. Where did we get this magical artifact?
From
She
this
gives it to
gray
you.
ashlight,
Okay, and what are we doing in this contract?
we're going to find the source of the corruption. The contract is merely to bring the artifact back to her within a week's time. If we
Oh,
don't,
so-
we are, quote, compelled to.
So it's a deposit or some sort.
Yeah.
I also notice
Okay.
there's a bit more on the contract, though.
Something
You
about
notice that-
bleeding from the eyes, you know.
No, well,
I don't know.
I'll
about
say
that.
for those who were to sign the contract, you'll notice there's a little bit of extra text, but that specifically mentions not to use that artifact or that basically remnant for deeds that would go against the law.
Yeah, there's no problem with me.
And why we
So question: how tight does my butthole feel after signing that contract? Is it like super tight, or is it like a nervous tingle, or?
How tight is it normally?
Roll for butthole tightness.
oh no,
Don't know. Do
what the
not roll.
20
Do not roll for butthole tightness.
roll it. I want it. Oh no! Why
Is
is
that a
it?
good? Is that
Why is it investigation?
It's a good
just
thing.
take-
Just to let you
just
know,
take
if you
2
had
fingers.
if you had anything in your butt right now, it would have gotten like slurped right
You have-
immediately.
Diamonds in your ass right now.
diamond?
Army Foreman Pearl.
Next time you take a shit, you will basically poop out a gold piece worth of diamonds.
Yeah, is that real? Are you being real, Ian?
I'll just like reach into my pants and like scratch my taint and like accidentally touch my butthole and be like, "Oh, jeez, that
What the-
contract is magical."
Oh,
God.
wait. So, okay. So,
New
yeah,
mechanic,
no,
Kami can shit gold if he's nervous.
Diamonds, there's a difference. Anyways, so
why-
what's up,
why,
are you?
Why are we searching for the source of corruption? What is the point of this?
She's
Because they're
gonna pay
paying
you guys.
us.
You guys did a good job bringing back a body, so you kind of proved yourself into her eyes. She's like, okay, find a source. We'll pay you 12 gold pieces apiece, plus 2 bottles of alcohol.
You mean 12 gold to each person, or 12 gold per body we bring back? What?
Per person.
Person. So,
Person in the party.
Yeah.
if she's basically not saying you guys actually fight, but to look.
Considering that we made, what, 3 gold in its entirety for the last mission, and some of us almost died, not naming any names, and now we're making several dozen times that.
So it kind of shows just how important this mission is
There's
to
1,
them.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us,
Uh-huh.
right?
So we made 3 gold, 4 gold last mission, and now we're making
72.
72? Yeah.
And as in case you guys forget, gold goes a long ways.
Uh-huh.
Like buying a small ticket of ale, that's like a couple copper. Just imagine how much alcohol you can buy with a gold piece.
I could buy the whole bar. I could put Ronnie in an indentured servitude.
Okay.
Bendy's for life.
Aru will go ahead and say,
Bendy's for life.
Alright, if you sign it, like the moment you grab the quill and you touch the paper, your signature appears.
I will sign
Without
this
actually
to-
writing. So, is that everyone? If I presume that's everyone, you
Okay,
notice the
did a healer actually sign it, or did he just get a seizure and go back into the pack?
Did he die?
no.
He's hurting.
Almost.
He's fucking hurting.
That's what you get for casting a spell onto a magical contract, even if it's a harmless spell.
I just want to see him drooling into the floor unconscious.
There's only one person left to sign.
Oh, who's left? Oh, Swalbo. Swalbo goes, I don't like this sneaking around shit, but if I get to punch something in the end, I'm for it, and he'll touch the paper.
And it gets signed. No, it's just healer.
I wonder
now.
what his signature is.
It's
You
a
just-
it's a
Oh, champ.
fist. It's a fist. It's like a rage comic, but more of a fist than a face.
No, it's probably just Swolbo, but the S or something is replaced with a flexing arm.
It's a Stussy,
Bulbo.
a
think
Stussy
he can hold
symbol
a pen.
made with fists.
I don't think he
Right.
can like precisely hold a writing.
Nah,
utensil.
so when he grabbed the quill, he would hold it in like a clenched fist. and just like poop, and there it is.
All he has to
Alright,
do is
healer,
get the quill to the paper.
which is probably his most favorite thing.
He punches the
writing
paper
shit.
with the quill.
Writing is just
he has to make a
long-term
wisdom
punching
save.
if you think about it.
No, 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 no. He
That's
did it with
fine,
good
no.
intentions.
All right, the paper will let it slide. Now healer, he needs a sign, and then everything is good.
I'll lift up Kami's satchel and I'll say, "You all right in there?"
No, I don't really want to touch that thing.
Let me...
It's
You need
not
to
very
ask
nice.
for permission before you start playing with my sack.
And I'll just kind of... I don't know what drives healer
All
at
due
this
respect,
point.
Ron, I don't think Cammy will
Wait,
care about permission.
what is healer's like quinceañera or whatever he's on?
Rumspring. Rumspringa.
Rom Springa? Is that like a quinceañera, like just a drinking holiday? What is it?
It's the Amish rite of passage.
Oh,
Where you
cool.
leave home and you go party. Have you never seen a...
No. Whatever it is, no. I'll just kind of open up the patch, the pouch, looking at healer, him curled up in a fetal position inside the pouch. I was like, perhaps maybe we don't tamper with divine contracts such as this. You understand divine magic and the whole concept of do not lie. Yes? Question mark.
Well, I wasn't lying. I was trying to draw a picture on it.
Oh, okay.
And that stupid pen wouldn't let me.
Understand. Just what do you have a mock of individuality where you come from, where you sign this is my mark, I agree with this sentiment?
Well, I can try and write that, but I don't think it'll let me.
Okay.
And I will try and write, this is my mark. I agree with this sentiment. And see what happens.
And what is your mark?
I think
Signature,
that's what
probably.
it literally is. He just wrote that sentence, or he envisioned it.
Yeah, except my mark would be kind of a ball sack looking thing.
Fucking
And
damn
that
it!
was what would appear.
Signature
That
on
appears on the contract, and then you notice that the contract will glow a little bit. All of you would feel a little tingly, and then the feeling would go away. Then
Where
Gray
is,
would nod her head.
Where's healer feeling tingly?
Not in the ball sack, please.
His brain. That's probably the echoes of what happened earlier from the brain tasering. Anyways, Gray would just like nod her head.
Do you have a healer around here, or a potion maybe? My head is killing me.
I think,
I
if
believe.
I may, healer and Cray, Miss Cray, that before we head to this forest, we take a much-needed long rest.
Of course.
Maybe before tomorrow.
Well,
perhaps.
in all
contract
honesty,
itself-
though, the time is ticking, right?
The contract is in effect now, but you do have a week, so there is no rush. I very
We
much
should've
doubt
waited
it'll
till
take that
tomorrow
long.
to sign the contract.
I'll kind of like no rush. Did she show us on a map where she believes this whole?
Yeah,
Okay. So
I'll bring you guys back.
no, I got that. From
Oh.
where we are, Witch Door. How many days travel back and forth do we think that is?
From that to that location, probably a day at max, maybe, unless you guys encounter a lot of things. Like
Okay.
if you guys basically encounter nothing, only a day. So the fact that you guys gave me a week is insanely generous.
Okay. But
It's
there,
rigged.
there were many caveats to make sure that we did not use the remnant for ill-gotten gains.
Basically, if it were break the law of Witch Store, or at least of this kingdom, then it would be forbidden.
Which I must say, the law is paramount. It is the mortar that holds the stone of civilization together, and it must be respected. And yes, I just read that off. Of
Also,
my tablet.
with that, she were to take the remnant, the little necklace, And since you happen to be right next to her, she's going to give it to you, Athenia.
That makes sense.
All right. What do I call it? If I put it in my inventory.
Let me double check and see.
Did you create an item for it or no? If
No, I
not, then
didn't.
don't worry. Okay.
You can
then
just
don't
you can
worry.
just create a vague description, like in your inventory, if you want.
So do we all
Uh,
get
how
one or
many-
just one?
Just
No, it's just the one.
So we're gonna let the packet princess take it, or are we gonna give it to who? Or
Give it to the haiku one.
I don't
Alright.
trust a rogue.
All right, if you want to write a name for it, you have a new thing in your possession called.
Manage inventory, add items.
Let's see. Where? Let me see if I remember what it's called. Here we go. Lishrot's Unseen Necklace.
You're putting that in the fucking...
I'll put it in the D&D campaign chat.
Yeah. I'm just copy and pasting.
Lishrat's unseen necklace.
Okay. Fuck, manage inventory. Oh, wait, I have to do this.
Wait, I don't see it.
One minute.
Alright, with that, you guys are basically given permission to leave.
Sweet. Bedtime.
Wait, are we adding?
Feather the Wing will say, with that, I will go return to my post. When you're ready to leave, you may meet me outside, if you wish. And Calverin's just like going to go back to his bar, like his tavern. So, if I presume you guys leave, I'll take you back to the Glittering Bauble.
Sure.
Um,
So hold on, are we adding an item?
No, I got it. It's. Let's see. How do I make a custom item again? Manage inventory.
Oh, speaking. You know what? I'll make an item.
Oh,
real
add
quick as
custom
well.
item. I see it.
Create.
So, Paxi, have you never seen the Great Gnome play? Gnome Pin.
My friend, you are the first gnome I have come across. I cannot say I have.
What's a wonderful play. It's about this gnome who goes off on his Rumspringa, and he meets a down on his luck former rock roller who's missing a hand. And it's all about their hustle. And it's good. He meets a whore, and he gambles, and he does all sorts of fun stuff that the gnomes aren't allowed to do.
What's
Stars-
new?
Gnome Pin.
Gnomes are not allowed to gamble.
Have you ever heard of the great actor Gnome Murray?
Is that Bill Murray, the gnome?
Yes.
Yes, in this he lost his hand in a rock throwing hustle, and he has a wooden hand. And sometimes it comes off in the rock. It is so funny. And he has a landlady who's hideous. He does unspeakable acts to her to keep his hobble.
Well, I hit a button and I accidentally fucked up my character sheet. Whatever.
It sounds enthralling, let me tell you.
So, Dylan, if you're making the item, will I be adding that to my inventory?
Sure.
So I just wait, I guess.
Without
make it.
waiting for you to create the item, I go to Athenia and I ask. I basically spend kind of like the afternoon trying to figure out what's the max distance I can be away from her, with the help of Kami, to try and see like how far away can we be from the relic bearer before we are noticeable.
So you wish to put it on?
Sure.
When you put it on, you notice that the range is about 20 feet before the basically effect goes away.
Like 20 feet around or like a 20-foot square?
20 foot around.
Oh, Jesus.
So with you at the center.
That's pretty wide.
It's not really. We're gonna have to
Okay,
huddle.
what the fuck were you expecting?
We're gonna have to huddle close for warmth.
Nah. You can stay 20 feet away from me and we'll be just fine. And we'll keep it that way.
This
Right,
is-
Taxi?
This is 20 feet. That's not really a huddling close thing.
Sure.
So does that count for anything else within 20 feet of us, or only willing targets?
What do you mean, willing targets?
Willing targets, I believe.
So, for instance, if we are walking over a landmine or a creature hiding in the ground underneath us, and it becomes unnoticeable, right? Is that considered a willing target? Is that something we would not notice?
I get to choose, basically.
We'll say
From my-
friendly targets.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's up to the packet princess. Okay.
What?
Still trying to
Her
decipher what that's supposed to
TCP/IP is infallible.
It's an IT thing,
It's an IT term.
like sending
Got
packets.
it.
It's just he looks like a princess, so I'll call her the packet princess.
You mean a queen?
Alright.
I mean,
It's done, so let me go to the campaign. Actually, you can probably add it now, Drew.
Okay. I will go to inventory, manage inventory, add items,
Tap Lishrod.
add to equipment.
You see it?
Yeah. I click it, wondrous item. I have it.
Now
Now
read
have
it.
Inventory.
It's gonna say these.
It's not an attunement item, I see.
Nope, not an attunement.
Oh wow, you just... Whoa. Okay.
did we officially give that spell, the envenomed flames, to Kami?
I mean, someone's holding onto the scroll, but I don't think you guys did
I
anything
think it's
with it.
Kami.
I got it. But it's not in my
Alright, I'm
inventory.
gonna read this out loud to you guys because this is pretty important to know. The necklace that has a silvery chain and a green gem that glows faint. When wearing this necklace, the wearer and all those they choose within 20 feet gain advantage on stealth checks, as well as +10 to their rolls to move silently and go unnoticed. All creatures who try to notice the wearer and those affected have disadvantage on checks when trying to detect those affected by the necklace. This necklace's effect.
Okay.
So you guys get
So
advantage
basically, we get
and +10,
advantage and +10 to stealth checks.
and you
While
guys,
in the shroud.
other creatures have disadvantage on trying to notice you.
Yeah.
So as you can tell,
It-
this thing
it's-
is very good.
It's
I get to roll stealth normally.
it's paths without a trace with benefits.
So wait a minute. So you're telling me I could walk past somebody, throw up on them, and they'd have a disadvantage to try to see me?
Does throwing up on someone break the law?
I think that counts as assault. So yeah,
If it would get you arrested, it would probably be illegal against the
Oh
law.
yeah, we're gonna lose this necklace so fast.
you're, what do you,
There's-
wait a second.
Guess who has a necklace right now? The law-abiding citizen.
So-
The one who is straight up will always follow the law. Otherwise, I become an oath breaker.
So I'm gonna saddle up to Ryu, and I'm gonna say, Mr. Ryu, do you fancy the spicier type of foods, or are you more of a plain sort of individual?
I do remember him being
Oh,
tear
That's a good
gas.
question. What breaks the cloaking?
Does it function like stealth?
Yeah, actually, I did forget to mention it, but when you enter combat,
So it basically it just functions like normal D&D stealth does then.
Yes, like the moment you make yourself very clear, then its effect will basically.
But what if the cube is a projectile and comes out of nowhere?
So
does that?
So the way
Does that break stealth?
So Mike, just the way the stealth works is you roll stealth.
I know what stealth is. I'm saying in character. Aru is saying, what is a stealth save? What are you guys talking about?
I don't think
does
story
plus
short.
10 mean? That's 5 saves.
I think we're just explaining this in regular terms.
Basically, if you try to, it helps with sneaking, but the moment you try to get into combat, that's when the effect will start to wear off.
Let me take a challenge.
I made the description.
If you're within 20 feet of me, you are stealthier than normal, and other people have a harder time noticing you.
But when you try to hurt someone, that's when it becomes a little bit easier to notice.
So you hear that? Don't break the law. As I look in at Tommy, Healer, and Aru, and Taxi. Why is Swolbo the only innocent one here?
She looks at me and I look hurt, emotionally. How could you?
Okay, I would say something.
The contract said
that
we can't commit acts of crime during the invisibility. Yeah.
Okay. With it. There is a loophole there, but I still will not.
Oh, okay. I see the loophole though.
I will fix the loophole.
Okay, Dylan. Cat, you having fun? I can't see the screen.
Now, I'd like to reiterate here, as I am the closest thing to a civilian in this entire party. I'm a humble business owner and a brewer, that is all. I do not break the law, and I have not broken the law.
Are you saying this out loud to all of us?
I am.
I'll look to him and like, Kame, exactly why did you lose your brewer's license to begin with?
Well, they don't call me Fizzle Spunk for nothing.
And I'll just like cut him off right there. It's like, exactly.
The secret ingredient.
So also, by the way, you guys hear shouting in the kitchen. It sounds like Ronnie's currently cooking something.
Little essence of Cammy in every drink.
What?
Hey, Calvin! Lad, are the little lads and lasses back? Was it lad and lass? I don't remember. Regardless, I got something cooking in here for them. Calvin just gets back to his desk. Well, counter, whatever. They are back. I assume that you're making one of your specials. Hey, lad, you know me. Except this ain't just a special. It's the special of specials. The special. You know what I mean, lad. Calvin just shakes his head and looks at all of you guys. I hope you have room for a meal before you retire for the night.
I believe that should be quite fun. What say you, Swolbo?
He flexes.
Good conversation. I appreciate your company, Swolbo.
And I appreciate you, random citizen. Anyways, then you see Ronnie. He comes out with several metal platters and things with sizzling food. You notice from what the place, it looks like brats, but kind of sliced a little bit and then fried. So maybe actually schnitzel is probably the right word for them. But there's like sliced potatoes and things. Maybe not brats, but it's schnitzel.
Brats. I heard rats.
I heard rats as well. Jeez.
Brats.
I'm not.
Brats. Anyways,
Bratwurst. Got it. Okay, I'm not
basically
rats.
like there's sliced potatoes. You notice there's pretzels and stuff. Various dips, like looks like a yellow, like honey mustard and things.
I'm okay.
And he's basically setting them onto the table. And then
Oh,
for
that
you,
much
Paxi, he gives you one, but looks like there's a red sauce drizzled on it.
Thank you, Ronnie. I will flip him a gold. I'll be like, I could be dead tomorrow. Who knows? Here's to you, buddy.
He gets it. Lad, do not die, because you've been the best source of coin for me all week. I'll make sure to cook you an even special dish. I've been bringing out my old family recipes just for you. Then he just goes back into the kitchen.
Damn it.
Oh no, fucking Aru. Hometown favorite. Oh god.
Made by miners who have been stuck in the mines for who knows how long. Gotta eat somehow.
It's a bunch of Chilean miners. They've been stuck underground for 2 weeks.
Calvin is just sitting, like, leaning against his desk. Go ahead. It's free. Seems like Ronnie has his own sort of thing going. Oh, yes. Also...
Dylan, I hope you realize we're kidnapping Ronnie at some point, right?
Also, Calvin pulls out a bag, sets it down on the counter. By the way, Miss Cray also wanted to give you this for the payment of the stuff you brought earlier today.
Hey.
What is
Okay.
Of course. I mean, getting a commission is not just the only payment for your services. If you guys were to look inside the bag, you notice that there's 10 gold pieces worth of silver.
Yeah, I'm just chalking that up to gold. I'm not writing
Yes.
down that much silver.
Wait, so everybody has that now?
You guys split up amongst yourself.
Oh, how many
There
was it?
is
6?
6 of us.
Math
Seems
is...
like it would have been much less, but the fact that you brought an actual body of a more rare infected creature definitely jacked up the price.
You know
By a
what?
lot.
Everyone can take 2 gold pieces. I do not wish to receive any here.
Can you add 2 gold to Swellbow?
Aru would like to ask, who wants to gamble?
Gamble.
Gamble. I don't know how to feel.
I'll go up to Aru. I'll cut my red saucy sausage in half. I'll slide half over to Aru. I've never tasted this, but Ronnie says it's a special for me. If you can eat that whole thing without vomiting, I'll give you this shiny gold.
Gotcha.
Also,
Alright.
I've added the 2 gold pieces to Swolbo.
Okay, so
Uh-oh.
wait, you put 1 gold coin on the table?
1 gold coin, yeah.
Okay. I'll go ahead and eat this. Do I have to roll like some kind of constitution thing?
So you're eating his food?
I
eating
cut
half-
my spicy sausage in half and gave half to him.
The sausage itself is not spicy, but there's
No,
a
but
nice,
with the red sauce.
generous helping of that red sauce. So, all right, so you take a bite.
Yeah. Well, I have to eat the entire thing. That's the bet.
Oh. So you eat basically the piece that he offered, and it tastes pretty good.
Nice.
It's basically nice, freshly cooked schnitzel with a nice kind of sweet sauce, and then that sauce is not sweet. Oh shit, it's not sweet. It's definitely very spicy. It's very roll Constitution.
Wait, what? Huh?
Roll Constitution. It's like almost like ketchup-y, but then that's when the peppers kicked in.
I'm a goddamn dragon. No. Okay, fine.
And I'll take mine and I'll just chomp the whole thing in one go.
Wait. Are you doing it at the same time though?
Sure.
Roll Constitution.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, no. Ignore that.
Do I get advantage? Question mark, because I'm cool and fire resistance.
You do get advantage
Wait, why does he get advantage?
because he's accustomed to spicy food.
I'm a dragon.
Because I
But
have
you're not a
resistance to
red
fire
dragon,
damage.
though. You're a blue dragon. You're not
19.
eating lightning. So here's what happened.
I'm not
You
blue.
don't throw up, but you're definitely coughing a lot.
wait,
You have a massive amount of mucus building up in your throat. Your mouth your throat and your stomach is currently burning.
What is this for? Is this Paxi or is this?
You do not throw up, actually. You rolled high enough where you don't throw up, but you feel miserable as fuck.
That reminds me of my sister.
And Paxi, though, you can feel the burn, but you've kind of gotten used to it at that point. Like you're lucky that you still have taste buds left.
It's like, just like Mama used to make, and I'll put down the gold. It's like, well, you kept it down, son. Here you go, as promised. I'll slide you a gold piece.
Actually, hold on. You take 2 points of acid damage.
Damn, that's some bad acid reflux there, buddy. Sorry. That's gonna keep you up at night.
That's the first time I've taken damage this campaign.
What the fuck? Well, you better fix that.
He's a coward. He's been avoiding fights.
He's gonna die to spicy sausage.
Alright. So, what do you guys do now?
Just like my sister.
Wait a minute.
You can't just... That's not a catchphrase. That should never be a catchphrase.
That's not a catchphrase. Our use catchphrase.
Yeah, it's 5 syllables, so yeah, it could be.
Yeah, it was 5 syllables.
Christ. Just shake my head as I see this, and I continue eating my brats and potatoes, and go ahead and drink some ale.
Okay, so this is the night before, right?
Not before we go out, sure.
So a day before we go into the forest.
Yes. You guys technically went to the forest earlier today, but not
Mr.
now. You guys are
DM.
chilling.
I have
Yes.
a question about how much
Plate armor costs.
17.
you could look it up if you want. But I'm curious about what you say. Because you did say 1 gold goes a long way.
So shouldn't you go to a...
Does it really cost that much?
Sure does.
Yeah,
In the
plate
episode,
armor's
it does.
fucking expensive.
1.5k gold for plate armor.
Yeah,
Okay,
usually
that's why
you
I'm
don't
asking
you don't
you.
see that until you kill your first dragon.
So, question: what's your current armor?
Let's
18,
see. I think I have half plate. No, chainmail. I have chainmail.
which is heavy. It's heavy armor.
Yeah, heavy armor.
I mean, that's a question for the armor sales. not
Half
the
plate
team.
is the best you can get for medium armor.
I don't know, man. Who do you want to talk to? You want to talk to Calvin, the guy who seems to know shit,
Sure,
or you
I'll
wanna go-
ask as I'm eating my dinner. So instead of saying Mr. DM, I'll say so Kelvin. How much does plate armor go for around these parts?
Yeah.
Calvin, just like currently working on his bottles and things, organizing shit, I guess. Well, depends on who you ask and how well they know you. Average plate, if you want good quality, it can go upwards to 1,000 gold.
All right, and I spew out my drink.
But
Oh, I guess.
The beer too spicy for you.
Oh sure, yes, Paxi, it is too spicy for me. Anyways, and I turn back to Kelvin.
if you'll, I'd say currently getting plate armor is a little bit out of your league at the moment. But if this next mission does perform pretty well, I can give you my word that I can at least get you some good splint.
Must look up Splint.
She's a spitter, like my sister.
Oh god! Oh come on!
How many red dragons?
Okay, so
rocks fall,
Got it.
everyone dies.
I could take some Splint armor. I wouldn't mind that.
It won't be free, of course, but I can get you a discount that I would normally get. But
Oh.
we'll see after tomorrow. But or the day
Well, I
after, or the
appreciate
day
it.
after.
I raise my drink in an appreciation, and I down it, finish the rest of my food, and I head on up.
Oh, I was wrong. She can swallow too.
Oh, God damn it.
Like,
I'll go up to Calvin, and I want to ask him about that black coin he gave us. Specifically the one for the favor between him and Feather the Wing. And I'd imagine black coins with fists and feathers on either side are not common, and I'm curious what the significance of either the coin or the two symbols on either side are.
Oh, so that's what you ask him?
Yeah.
world building.
Well, he grabs a tankard and starts cleaning it. Well, at this point I don't really see it as a secret, but that coin is essentially a token that me and my old adventuring party used to carry.
What was the name of said party? I imagine that has something to do with the symbolism on either side of the coin.
Now that I cannot say, or at least not yet. But I can tell you that old Feather the Wing was in fact one of those party members. We go way back. And if you don't have already made the connection, Miss Cray Ashledge was also a member of that party. Obviously, we're all
quickly drawing that
retired
conclusion.
Now. Of course, we're not the only ones. There's a couple of others, but we all went our separate ways after doing our fill of adventuring. Now we simply do our own thing. Cray decided to join the guard. I decided to open a tavern with my spoils, and the whole Feather. Well, she has her own duties to worry about. But if you travel around Shador, I'm sure you'll find the others. And he grabs another black coin, looks it to you. If you ever see them, be sure to show that. They'll definitely know who it is.
So, you say that this coin is a favor.
/ token of their party. They use it to exchange favors.
Okay. What exactly, what favor did we get out of her? Because it seems to me like she just sent us on another regular mission.
She gave you that little concoction thing that's meant to be good against those creatures.
Oh, so she sent us on the regular
that you
mission.
never use.
But she gave us a little bonus. Okay.
Yes. And you never used it.
Who did we
give
say,
it back to her, didn't we?
I forgot. No, you guys still... Actually, no, you did give it back to her. And she gave you guys the token back as well, because the favor was not fulfilled.
So now we have
So now you're in
of
possession
these
of 2
coins.
tokens. Yep.
Pod?
Okay, so now I hold up the coin that he originally gave us, and I kind of like do the little sleight of hand and split it in 2. So you now you show that I have 2 coins. Let me say, do these coins work both ways? Meaning, can I ask him a favor?
Well, sadly not. If you're not a member of the party, which sadly you're not, they don't really hold much meaning. However, kind of points at the coins. Like, you notice actually one has a fist and one has a feather.
So,
But then you notice another one, the other coin he gave you has a fist and an actual arrow.
okay, so now I have a coin from Cray and a coin from Feather. Is that what you're saying?
Essentially, I mean, you can roll if you want, but both of those coins came from him. And you notice that both of them have a fist on one side.
Uh-huh.
However, the other side is different. One was a feather, and you happen to give that coin to Feather the Wing, and the other one's an arrow, but you don't know what that coin's for.
Okay. Okay. Jot that down somewhere. Okay, so we have a fist and a feather.
And a fist and an arrow.
And a fist and an arrow.
And he nods his head. Now, if you give this mission, or at least you complete it with flying colors, he shows another black coin. You can see there's a fist on one side, and he turns it You notice it seems to be some sort of sun on the other.
A sun?
I'll give you this coin as well. Yep. And then closes his hand and the coin vanishes.
So, you're offering this currency that I have no history with. Who else besides you three, meaning you, Feather, and Cray, who else would be familiar with said currency?
Well, you'll understand the meeting after you complete this mission. In a way, consider this a test, because gaining a favor from a high-level adventurer is no simple feat.
Can I?
And of course, this is my favors I'd be handing to you, so I understand this is not payment in coin, but it's still worth quite a good deal.
Can I look at the 2 coins that I have and the sword that he has on the mantle? Are they made out of the same material?
Roll perception.
I will. And be bad at it.
Oh, 18.
Or okay at it.
As you're holding the coins, kind of like making comparison, they're both black, they're both made of metal. But then you notice as the light of the lamps and stuff around the place kind of flicker on the... You notice that they both possess a similar sheen. They almost seem like a purple sheen.
Okay, so I could deduce that they are made out of the same material.
Yes.
Okay.
Pog.
I want to bring up this topic. I want to say, like, these... I'll kind of, like, hold them up. Like, you know, letting him know that I'm making this distinction between the two. Let's say, what exactly is this material?
Well, why do you want to know?
It seems to hold some sort of value.
What if I told you that they're remnant materials?
Remnant. I look at Kami and him, like, sucking down his, like, 12th tankard of ale. Like you're telling me that the scroll that this guy found and your formidable looking weapon there and this coin are somehow linked in their construction.
I wouldn't say construction, but they are similar in terms of origins. They both come from a time long lost now. I will say that sword... Actually, can I see that scroll? I've heard mentionings of it, but I've never seen it myself.
You gonna give it back, old man?
Of course, I have no interest in stealing.
Because if you don't, I'm taking your bar.
Sure.
Fine. Here you go.
He takes the scroll, opens it, kind of looks at it a bit. He doesn't seem to know what it means. You can tell that he's definitely not a spellcaster. But then he turns it over, sees a symbol, blinks. Ah, spell for the Barons. That's a very good... I don't know what the contents are, but I can tell you that it's a solid spell, regardless of what it is. It just rolls it up, hands it back to you. I can say with confidence that my sword is not made of whatever material that the Barons use. But I will say, since I'm starting to like all of you, it is made from what we've garnered to know as... Let's see if I remember the name. Yes, the Grand Master Artificer. They seem to be the ones responsible for making all sorts of very powerful artifacts. And that necklace that Cray gave you, that is one of them.
So the coins, the sword, the necklace, the spell, all were made from the Grand Artificer.
The Grand Master Artificer.
Mastered. This is someone from the Old War?
I'm assuming you asked them that?
Yeah.
Indeed. There are many, many notable, powerful mages from that time. and that we don't necessarily know everything about them because that's a time long lost. But we are now discovering more about them with every remnant we discover. We already know a decent amount about the Barons and their magic. We know a little bit about the Grandmaster Artificer with their various magical items. And then there's also the Lifesmith, which we have known to, or at least from what we know, it causes quite a bit of trouble to this day.
Is the Grand Artificer and the Lifesmith one of the Barons?
Nope,
Or
the
someone-
Barons are completely different from all the others. The Barons, from our knowledge, are 4 spellcasters grouped together, and then all the other spellcasters seems to be not quite as aligned. Or at least, they don't seem to share some sort of connection.
The Grand Life? What? I'm sorry.
So, the Grandmaster Artificer seems to be the one to make the various magical artifacts you guys have. Then he just mentions the Lifesmith, which seems to cause trouble for even to this day.
Haru overhears all this talk about magical items and chimes in, items remove curse?
I'll look over to him and I say, you and I are looking for the same person in all of this. And that would be the priestess, or the cleric of the court, Sakala. Court cleric. If anybody around here, living or dead, is going to help us, that's who we need to see.
Roll perception again.
What?
I look at
With
Paxi.
advantage. I'd say with advantage. When you said like Sakala in that weird way, you kind of notice Calvin starts like smirking in a way, like almost seems like there's recognition on his face, but he doesn't say anything.
So her name is spelled with 2 A's, right?
Yes.
But me dragging it out like that caused him to
Smirk.
Okay, noted.
Look at Paxi. I have no idea what he's saying. Who the hell is that?
So if anybody's gonna cure me and you of our current affliction, it's gonna be the court cleric.
I look at Paxi again. You and me not same.
You and I both suffer from a curse, although different, somewhat similar.
I am a dragon.
Speaking of curses, to answer your question, you would be correct. There are remnants that can in fact cure curses. From what my knowledge is, anything made by the Grandmaster Artificer seems to be not necessarily theme. From what we've understand, whoever they were, they seemed very keen on creating as many unusual artifacts as possible. I mean, someone did find a little cube that could create a castle with a full army at a moment's notice. So find something that can not only break curses, well, I wouldn't be surprised if that's something. But that requires luck, because a lot of these artifacts made by the Grandmaster have been found, except for the more hidden areas.
What do you think of that, Miss Athenia? General
I am in.
Athenia of your own army.
I'm not even there. I'm in bed. I've been gone.
Yeah, what you
Shut
I looked behind me and it was
Thank you, Dylan.
well,
Thank you, Dylan. Sorry,
You're welcome.
I forgot to move my character earlier. Forgot this was a multi-layered house or
Yes.
tavern.
I keep looking at Paxi with the weird eyebrow. Who you talking to?
I look back at him and just you want another spicy
Hey.
sausage?
Yeah, there you go. Who you talking to is 5 syllables.
I'm aware.
Nice.
I'm a little curious to know, was your mother the dragon or was your father?
I am a dragon.
You're not a dragon. You're like a dragon person.
Alright, settle down.
That is offensive.
Wait, is Feather with us or she?
No. Oh wait. Delete. Delete. There we go. She's gone. She went back.
What? Where'd she go? Magic.
I don't feel like you've ever seen a dragon, are you?
Wait, where the heck is your character? He's in bed. Like you're not even talking to me.
Oh, his character hasn't been moved since last session.
Oh, right.
Anyways, also, I must say, I recommend getting sleep whenever you can, because in Farsos's name, I know your day is going to be quite rough tomorrow. So, if you've eaten your fill, we will take care of everything.
After being called a dragon person, I'm just gonna go to bed.
Hammy, do you think his mother was a dragon or his father?
Boy, in my opinion, I don't think either one was a dragon. I think the milkman might have been a dragon, though.
Well, how does the logistics of that do you think works?
Well,
If the,
it's kind of like dropping off a banknote. Sometimes the deposit sticks, sometimes it bounces, sometimes it nuts and bolts.
God.
Also, your sound is leaking.
He's got push to talk. It's working its best. He's
Yeah,
he's not on his usual computer.
Oh.
I'm making the best of what I have.
So who else has gone to bed?
I'll head to bed. I won't necessarily go to sleep, but I'll head to bed. I think I was sharing a room with Aryu, or was I sharing a room with Healer?
Healer was sharing a room with Swolbo.
Or Aryu. I think it was Aryu. Well, no, Aryu took that room now, so you're sharing a room with
Oh no.
I thought you were here by yourself.
No.
I think I was by myself.
By myself.
I was supposed to room with Kami, but Kami just ended up sleeping by himself, like, in the tavern.
That makes sense.
And Swobo and Healer were with you. Because Healer just sleeps in...
If I remember correctly, it was Swolbo and Healer in this room, Aryu and Paxi in this room. Simply because Swolbo and Healer are super small.
Yeah, they are.
Anyway, so you guys would go to sleep. Time would pass.
Full rest.
Well, before...
You guys would get a long rest. Yes?
Before I sleep, I want to talk to Morning and say, Kelvin still doesn't know about... Hold on. Kelvin still does not understand your unique situation. Do you think...
Sure, then speak up.
Go ahead.
Of course. I don't think he really knows who I am. Besides, weren't you going to talk to him about us?
I was, yes, but I want to make sure that you are appreciated as much as possible and not used, that's a bad word. I want the surprise to be utilized to its maximum efficiency. What do you
Are
think?
you trying to get something out of it?
I do. I think he has a lot of information.
Yeah. You just hear a faint information. Well, you're not wrong. If anything,
God is this world.
You just hear her just like calm a little bit, like.
What do you think?
I am quite curious about those coins.
All right. What question or what trade do you propose?
Well, to be honest, I'm not so sure what we'd have to even offer him. If he's an ex-adventurer, as he says, and he's quite skilled, then I don't know really what there is that he would take. Maybe the knowledge of my existence would be enough for him, or maybe not. I'm not so sure how he thinks. Because he seems all nice and smiles, but
What do you think 5 minutes with the illustrious morning would buy us?
I mean,
With respect, of course.
Are you gonna pimp out your morning wood?
Shut up. You're not here.
I do not know, to be honest, or I tend to be quite certain with a lot of things, but when it comes to Kelvin, seems quite satisfied with his own sword, supposedly.
I know
still
you.
Curious though.
I know you do absolutely get a kick out of people first handling a sentient weapon.
He knows how to work it.
That's true.
I just don't want to overstep my bounds with you as I did with Athenia. That was embarrassing, and I will be sure to ask your permission in the future.
Of course, as it should be. Now, for him, I am more than fine with him handling me, but
Do you think his blade houses a similar spirit to yourself?
Perhaps. I'm not so sure. In the beginning, I would say no, because I wasn't getting any readings, or at least no feeling that I would get from other weapons similar. But if he says it's a remnant, then now I'm not so sure. Because if it's something made from old magic, then I don't think I can really say what it is until I get to meet it personally. Or at least if Calvin were to be nice enough to indulge.
Kami brings up a good point. Does RU hear this conversation going on?
I'm asleep. I'm fast.
Oh, you're asleep? Okay, do I hear this conversation going on through the fucking wall?
I'd say the walls are pretty well insulated, so no.
Damn.
Okay. What do you think before we head out tomorrow? Do you want to have a rendezvous with Mr. Kelvin?
Oh, well, if you're fine with that, that is fine with me. I will say I'm more curious about the coins. If it's made of the same material, then I'm not so sure why trading for favors is the only thing. Because if it's like a remnant material, is it really just something they just trade for favors, or does it do something more?
That's a good question to ask. And I will stand up and I will head back down to the bar. Is Kelvin there?
Yeah, so he's kind of closing up the place, or at least, yeah, he's basically preparing the clothes for food and stuff.
Okay.
He's kind of putting away tables, or at least folding, like, resting tables and stuff on top of each other.
So
Kinda
I will sit down at the bar, just conversationally, question mark? I'll say, Mr. Kelvin.
Ah, I thought you were asleep. Something bothering you?
Let me make a gentleman's wager with you. You answer my question. No questions asked. You answer my question to the best of your ability. And I will show you something that your eyes have never laid eye on. I will show you something that is beyond your comprehension.
Is that so? I'm always like a good challenge, if this is even considered that. But how about a little shade? You show me it, whatever it is you wish to show me first, and then I'll decide if it's worthy to answer whatever question you have.
Do I have a telepathic link to Morning, or only verbal?
You I mean, she has a telepathic link with you, but you only have a verbal connection for her.
Okay, so I'll just kind of tap. Does she? If she understands like what's going on, I'll just kind of wait for her answer to see if she kind of thinks this is a good idea or a bad idea.
If you wait a little bit, she goes, "Well, come on, get on with it." I mean,
Okay.
I don't think you're going to be able to convince him otherwise.
Okay. And I'll summon. I was like, fair. And I'll summon Morning to my hand.
Calvin just blinks. He recognizes the sword. You showed it to him earlier. Not sword, spear. There we go. I'm getting there.
Glaive.
And I'll say,
Glaive. It's spear, glaive.
yeah, glaive.
They're not the
Whatever.
same.
And
If you
it's
call
like,
her spear,
you've
she'll be
seen her,
pissed.
yes. But did you ask her name? And I don't think I ever told him the weapon's name, and I'll kind of open.
I think you have, but he didn't really say anything about it. So he takes the glaive, kind of like he's a little confused.
And I say you have about 1 minute.
He's like looking at the glaive, not so sure what's going on. Then he stops. And he kind of looks at the glaive. He kind of just stands there silently for about 1 minute. And then he nods his head slowly. He starts grinning. Then he hands the weapon back to you.
I'll take her back.
And she says to you immediately, "Wow." Just wow. That's all she said.
Okay.
So he just leans forward. Gotta say, that's quite some weapon you have there.
That's what my sister said.
From what she said, well, seems like you've been treating her quite well.
I'd like to think so. May I ask my question?
You know what? I'd say, even though this is something I have seen before, I'd say it's still quite impressive enough that you may.
When he says it's something I've seen before, I'll kind of nod at his weapon behind him and kind of give him a look. Do I see any reaction from him? Like,
kind of glance back, looks at you. So you want to know about him? Then he goes over, grabs the sword, picks it up off the handle, like its little display. Then he offers it to you.
oh, I take it. I take
So
it.
you grab it. It feels
my
very lightweight. You feel like a little tingle. And after a few seconds, you hear a voice in your head.
Yes!
It's too easy.
Well, look what we have here. Another adventure. Greetings.
Can I summon Morning at the same time, and can they like kind of talk through like as a proxy?
You want to summon Morning?
Well,
actually,
one moment.
Your Morning's still in your hand.
Okay. Can I add surprised it's another weapon that can talk, but I've heard, from Morning that this could be a thing. It's like, and who am I having the pleasure with this evening?
You do know how to do your introductions. I am Wealth Splitter.
Wealth Splitter. Okay. And I'll say, Mr. Wealth Splitter, may I introduce you? My name is Paxi Tamnia Moldroith, and my partner in crime here is Miss Morning. How do you do?
He doesn't really respond at first, but he knows Morning doesn't respond either. But I do feel like he's not just being silent to not speak to you, but it seems like he's directing its attention to Morning.
So they're having a conversation that I'm not privy to at this point?
Yes.
Oh.
It seems like it's a telepathic link of some kind, and you're not being.
Okay. I'll just hang
After
out.
a few seconds, actually, it only took a few seconds before Morning speaks up. Man, I always like to take quite pride in myself, but I feel like I'm being outclassed here.
We have much to learn in this very large world, Miss Morning.
Indeed.
I will,
Regardless, see, you are on a mission later, and I have to say this is considered a trial. If you complete this, then you will be deserving of another one of my tokens.
He's speaking of our current mission with the...
Yes.
Okay. Understood.
And he's saying if you complete it, you'll be deserving of another one of his tokens.
Is he speaking in like the possessive, like these are my tokens?
Well, is he?
Yes, as far as I'm hearing.
I mean, you want to pull out one of those tokens right now?
I'm gonna pull out a token, and I
What
want
do you
to.
do? You
I want
notice
to.
that it starts glowing.
I want to touch. Stand by. I say, you mean one of these tokens, and I'm gonna pull out the fist and the feather token, and I'm going to touch it to the blade.
It basically melts into the blade and vanishes.
That's what I expected. That's what I expected. Okay.
Yes, one of my tokens, a symbol of owing one another, also known as splitting the wealth.
And then you notice the blade starts rippling almost like water, and then a token pops out and basically falls into your hand.
Is it the same feather and fist?
Yep.
Okay.
It is a symbol of two individuals owing one another either favor, actions, or more. I am merely the broker, the mediator. I split the wealth, if you know what I mean.
The fist is Kelvin, and the
Indeed.
feather is Feather the Wing. The arrow,
of course,
is... Where's her name? I wrote it. Hold on. The arrow is Cray.
Incorrect.
The arrow is not Cray. Is the... Okay. We have the arrow and the sun.
Yes, both of those are party members that you have not met. Although one you will soon meet. Complete this mission, and that token with the mark of the sun will be very useful for you. In fact, it would be worth the most.
Is the sun not Sakala?
Perhaps, perhaps not.
Clever.
Yeah, I have a feeling that I finally made that connection.
And the arrow we have not met.
Indeed. But if you do meet him, well, he will be quite the individual. Regardless, these are all tokens that represent favors of adventurers who have once been the greatest of primes. They have done many things, and I have witnessed. Kelvin himself did obtain me from a place now long lost. It would be good to have their favors be owed.
May I ask you the name of this adventuring party as a formal addressing in the future?
Now why would I do that? It's simply too early. It would be less fun. I am merely a weapon in the end. Kelvin is the one who calls the shots here. As I said, I merely split the wealth.
Dane, you should argue that the weapon does have a say. Look at Morning, she's got you whipped.
Shut up, you're asleep. You can only speak 5 syllables.
Meeting your acquaintance was quite interesting, but to meet your fellow comrade in arms was also quite nice. It is not often one gets to speak to another object of sentience, although she is quite young, but she will eventually become stronger and gain enough experience.
Oh, okay.
She is... The thing that brought her into existence is different from you, then.
Of course. I was corrupted by
Forgot the name.
The Grand Artificer.
Yes.
Grandmaster
Grand
Artificer.
Artificer Lishrot.
Leeshrat! Wait!
Regardless, I am merely but one of thousands of artifacts. I was merely a passing creation made out of spur of inspiration and then just thrown aside after I finished sating his curiosity. Regardless, the Shrot is long gone. But all of the artifacts that he's made continue to live through the centuries, resistant to the effects of time.
Is that Vishrat? Vishrat?
Yes.
Okay. Made Wealth Splitter. You said you speak as if you were a side project of his. This Vishrat, a mere blink in his curiosity.
To say otherwise would be a lie. Despite how impressive I may be, I was merely just a passing project, a spur of the moment. Lishrot was blessed in not only in his genius, but also in his sheer power. He was the greatest of his time, but he was also cursed with a limited attention span, constantly moving from the next thing to the next.
Vishrat needed Adderall. Got it!
But regardless, not all of his creations were harmless. I will say Lishrot was dangerous due to the fact of how many artifacts he made and discarded. What may have been a simple project to him would be a weapon of mass destruction to another. A simple farmer could suddenly wield a weapon that could break kings and queens. That was the gift of Lishrot. His artifacts were not only great, but held no restriction.
What would you say his greatest creation was?
You feel his connection sever with you.
Fuck!
And then you notice he would fade from your hand and reappear back on the stand behind Kelvin. Kelvin looks back,
60
looks at
seconds. 60 seconds.
The longest fucking 60 seconds of my life.
Yeah.
Kelvin just like, well, looks like he's had enough of you. Well, now you got to see Wealth Splitter, my partner in crime, to say.
I will look at him like in shock, like, wait, I had more questions. And just stand up, give a nod. I'm going to bed.
Of course. Well, if you have anything else, be sure to stop by me. However, to get his attention again, you might have to try a little harder.
I imagine so.
Then he just gives a 2-finger salute. Be sure to take care of him, alright? Then you just hear more and go, will do.
My brain is fried from all of that. Like, I don't know where to begin with the amount of information I just got. And I was like, I will categorize and index this later. Bed.
Alright, you go to bed. Or at least you try to. All that information going through your mind is kind of making things very difficult. So, nighttime had happened. You guys are going to sleep, or at least you guys are sleeping. The anticipation of tomorrow's mission is definitely hanging over you guys. Paxi.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck.
You wake up. Or at least you think you do.
Did I
It's
get a
pitch
long
black.
rest yet?
No.
Fuck!
So you wake up.
Kind of your fault.
And you're looking around you. You notice Aryu is not next to you on your bed. If you try to reach out to Morning, you feel no connection. And the room is dark. Unnaturally dark.
I'm in the middle of a nightmare.
Suddenly you see the shadows of the room are moving.
Ah, balls.
And then he knows one of the shadows starts manifesting into a claw.
I'm going
And then a pair of bright yellow eyes form, as well as a long grin that seems like it's been torn, like ripped open.
Where? Like at the I'm gonna get to the center of the
Right
bed.
above you. You're laying on the bed, looking up, and it's on the ceiling.
I'm gonna do the thing like I'm covered in the sheets, like you can't hurt me because I'm under the covers, sort of thing.
And you notice while you're holding yourself with the covers, you can see the black claw start slowly phasing through the sheets. And then you hear a voice. Found you. You cannot run.
I'm gonna be like,
You're taking what is mine.
morning, morning, morning.
And then you see the face phase through the sheets, that long, torn grin opening very wide, and then you blink, and you is now actually morning.
Dicks, ass, fuck, balls, morning, and I'll summon her to my hand.
And she goes, what big guy?
She was here.
Awesome.
She was here again.
Are you? I'm just gonna assume the movement is going.
I like shoved him out of the bed, like, like I was probably thrashing and kicking and.
Says bruh 5 times.
bruh.
Bloody hell.
Like whip over. I'm just like holding my spear, like wide-eyed, just like, yeah.
Wait, is this in the middle of the night or is this in the morning?
This is
No,
morning.
this is actual morning.
Okay, so I got.
You just hear morning say in your mind, "Hold on, calm down, big guy. It was just a dream."
Happened again. I'll pat the bed. Yes, at least it's dry this time.
Oh my.
She is. Wait, again? I'm quite surprised. I thought the dream stopped ever since you got on that ship.
I
guess
she
doesn't
here.
really stop.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Well, I mean, currently she's only been haunting your dreams so far, so you should be fine at the moment, I think.
You're not doing me any favors with the I think, and I'll get up.
Hey, how about this? If you keep looking into that forest, maybe you might find a remnant or something that could do something about nightmares, eh? Because you know about what Wellsplitter said. If that Lishrot guy has been making all sorts of artifacts, then maybe there might be something that can deal with this.
Sick.
Because, I mean, unless that little cleric lady can actually do something about it.
I'll look at RU.
Dude, I'm out of here. I said, what the bloody hell? I just leave.
No, I look at RU as he's leaving, and I'll be like,
Damn it, Ron.
nightmares are one thing, but that boy can't talk. We're gonna fix him first.
Alright, you can see, if you guys were go down, you can see Calvin currently already filling up a few tankers of ale. Seems like he kind of anticipated you guys coming down.
Is this for the trip? I say jokingly.
The tankard's not, but I mean, if you're willing to fill up your water skins, then perhaps. I thought you'd all need a kick me up, to say the least, for what the days ahead.
I'll grab my tankard.
Yep.
And I'll walk over to the kitchen. I'll push open the door. Is Ronnie in
and you
there?
can see. Let me reveal the area. Your face, or at least chest to face with Ronnie. He's already wearing his goggles. You can
Ronnie.
feel a aroma of spicy sausage.
And I'll just kind of be like dead-eyed and asleep looking. Just be like, Ronnie, spice me. And I'll hold out my tankard.
Kind of looks at the tankard, looks back at you. Lad, you look like shit.
It's not only skin deep, Ronnie.
Kind of looks at the tankard, like pretty much takes it from you and starts chugging it.
What?
He drinks the whole thing in one go. Like, lad, let me tell you, that ain't going to do. Hold on a minute. Then he walks over to a couple of barrels right here. Untaps it. You can hear like a gurgling noise coming. Then this froth starts shooting out into the mug. And after a few seconds, he corks it, gives it back to you. Inside it's just a bunch of foam. But then it wants to start slowly dissipating. You see a bright amber drink. This is what I do when I have some problems in the day. You know, the bad dreams where my ex starts haunting me. It looks like you're having a problem too.
I turn back and count. Is he a clairvoyant? Can you read minds?
Someone just looks. You know, that's one of the reasons why I hired him. When it comes to food and drink, he only seems to know what is the best stuff. And he just, I drink to that, lad, and you'll do too. Remember, drink it slowly. Do it a little too quickly, and lad, you may not be able to do shit for weeks.
Do I take his advice? I don't know. I had a bad night. Nope! I grab the thing and I down it, and I down the whole thing, and before the effects start to take hold, I go, how much? To Calvin.
Calvin just, nah, the show's gonna be more than enough.
And I look
Make
down
a
at the
con
mug,
save.
and I go, fuck.
Make a Constitution save with disadvantage.
Fuck.
What?
20. Not natural, but 20.
Here's what happens. This shit it's like mead. It's very sweet, but there's also a certain tartness to it. It's not spicy whatsoever, like you would expect, but it's very, very strong. You wouldn't be surprised if the thing is 50% alcohol. But for some damn reason, not only can your body process spice, but it seems to burn alcohol really well. It's probably the demon genes in there. But a little bit of smoke comes out of your nostrils. You feel fine. In fact, you feel great. You don't feel drunk. You feel like the whole world is a little bit brighter.
Hell yeah!
Is there like smoke coming out of my ears?
No, a little bit, a pair of rings came out of your nostrils, probably from the burning of the alcohol. But Ronnie's like staring at you. Calvin's just leaning forward, waiting for something to happen.
And I feel great. Like the effects of the night have burned off.
Bruh, if that bitch is still haunting you, she got washed away by that alcohol.
It's like, you know what? I love this plan. I'm happy to be a part of it. Let's go into the forest! And I just march out the door.
Karati's just like staring.
As I see this, as I'm drinking my ale,
He's like full on following you. He just looks at Kelvin. Whoa! He drank my great special and he didn't even wink. He's just like, oh, I love this lad. I'm going to name my next brew after him. And he just walks back in. Alright, yeah, he just marched out the door. What do you guys do?
Haxie just did, and I was casually drinking my ale. And I see him walk out, I have to fucking chug the rest of it and chase after him. I'm assuming Swolbo does the same.
As you guys are walking after him, Kelvin just shakes his head. I have never seen a man drink a 10 gold piece mug and then be fine after
10 gold piece mug? Oh shit!
You just drank your entire profits away and got it back somehow.
And he just goes over to a small piece of paper and writes down your name on it. And he just shakes his head.
Am I on the Wall of Fame? Like I
It
just
seems
ate
like
the
it.
the 6-foot pizza and didn't blink.
Pretty much. Anyway, so do you guys go after him at this point?
Yeah,
I'm
guess
assuming
I
you guys
do.
do. Alright.
Yeah,
So
sure.
you guys would basically do the same thing. You would leave the glittering bauble. You would go out towards Witch City. A lot of guards would be paying attention to you guys because you're the group of adventurers who brought in that weird corpse. But they don't say anything. They're kind of just like, hey, hey. And then you guys get back to the entrance, and you can see the two guards who've been making bets on you guys. You know, one of them's about like talking about making a bet, and the other guy's like, "Oh, I'm not losing any more money this time."
So I have bad news. Ron's machine just died.
Oh.
Oh no.
Uh, we may have to call it.
Uh-oh.
And then there were 4.
Well, okay, we can leave the fighting and stuff for the next session then.
Jesus.
Oof.
Ron died of alcohol poisoning.
Yeah,
Again.
Ron's been having bad PC luck this whole entire week.
Wait, the machine just straight up died, like it's cut off, or did it fry itself, or?
He can't. The charging cable isn't. He's been Okay, so his motherboard and his main PC died. He's been working off a borrowed Microsoft Surface, and apparently it won't charge now, so it died. So now he's on his cell phone.
Yeah, you can't do Roll20 on your cell phone. So yeah, if it comes to it, we can call it for now. You guys did learn a lot of new shit, though.
Fuck yeah, we did. I'm okay with that.
You wrote down everything, right, Dane?
I did.
Okay, good. You're recapping next session.
Cool.
Alright, well, looks like I over-prepared a little bit, so that means you guys will have some exciting shit to deal with next session then.
Yeah.
And lots of fighting. Or maybe no fighting, because you guys did get We'll see.
Quick question.
What's
Dane?
Uh-huh.
Was Foghorn Leghorn your was that like your muse behind your voice?
No, it actually was from Critical Role Season 2, Ford, but just my own whatever southern accent. It's just not gonna change.
You sound exactly like Foghorn's Leghorn.
I'm glad I could put a smile on your face.
You could. I appreciate that.
Alrighty.
Alright, good night, guys.
Night.